What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, it looks like they got him, just like I said they would. Looks like they got him. I said it. If you guys remember, just a couple days, not a couple days, a couple weeks ago, I said they will be picking him up and they will be picking him up on federal charges. I said he was in he was in New York. I said he was testifying against the grand jury, or the grand jury had him coming in there talking to him. I said that maybe what, 2, 3 weeks ago? It is done. He's done. So we're gonna listen to some clips today on just what's going on. He is actually in court. He was due in court at 10 o'clock this morning. It is now 10:39. So let's see if we have anything new coming out. But I told you guys, I did. I sure did. I told everybody, y'all, it's happening. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I told everybody it was gonna happen.
Protect these women. And so, in my opinion, those witnesses and bystanders, I feel like they need to be held accountable as well.
One of the things that I am noticing from this.
Oh yeah, they're not playing. He's not getting out of this.
Sections, and I'm going to let you go because I know you have to go, Tracy.
They have waited this whole time. They've been building cases. They've been building a case on him for a minute. And I told everybody just a couple weeks ago, he was in New York. The grand jury stuff was going on. There's all kinds of people that were testifying in the grand jury, and that charges should be coming soon. And they picked his ass up last night.
You know, not an attorney, but part of me wonders, you would know more than I.
Yep. It's been going on for years. I've been speaking on it for a long time. And I can promise you, you're going to start seeing other people as well. It might take a little bit, but I promise you're going to start seeing other people go down as well.
Yeah, it's definitely possible that could be a consideration. I will tell you though, it's not like these are all just allegations of federal crimes. There are allegations of violations of state crimes that make up that underlying conspiracy. Tracy Walter, Thank you for coming on. I know you got a busy day. We're going to perspective.
Thank you, Jesse.
You got it. So I think we have to take another.
Around him to fulfill his sexual desires. The charges being brought against Sean Diddy Combs now coming to light. We want to go to Caitlin Becker. She is outside the courthouse in New York with the very latest following his arrest and indictment. What do we now know, Caitlin?
I don't think that's weird at all, Christine. I don't think that's weird at all. I think that they were not going to take the chance of him trying to bounce. They were going to give him a chance to turn himself in. And then they decided, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and pick his ass up. And they should have. He doesn't deserve a chance to turn himself in. He deserves to be humiliated just like he is right now. Agree with me or not, that's fine. But I truly, honestly believe he deserves every single fucking thing he's getting. He deserves this humiliation because what he put his victims through, because this is humiliating for him. Him not being able to turn himself in, him not being able to do that, and then getting picked up and it being breaking news fucking everywhere and yada, yada, yada. He deserves every bit of that. That's the least bit of humiliation he can get after everything he's fucking caused. So, yeah. All right, let's hear what we got. This is a news clip from News Nation.
Specific charges Diddy faces. Diddy facing charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. And when you say breaking news, I just got this indictment, this 14-page indictment in my hand right now. Now, I want to read for you just a quick top line that kind of gives you an idea of exactly what the U.S. attorney is looking to prosecute here. They say, quote, the defendant abused his
beautiful UK. How are you doing, gorgeous?
Fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and to conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in all of these crimes. Now, the enterprise there, that's really key for that racketeering charge that they're looking to prosecute him on. We know Diddy right now is likely in court, but he didn't walk in the front door because, Marnie, as you know, he was arrested late Monday night on this indictment and has been held in federal lockup. Now, we did hear from his attorney as he walked in court just a few minutes ago that they're going to plead not guilty and they plan on defending the pop mogul, the rap mogul. Take a look.
He knew he was coming. I mean, he moved to New York, as I think some of you guys know. We brought him to New York about 2 weeks ago because we knew this day.
Hold on. I just want to stop him right. Hold on. Come on. I just want to stop him in his tracks. We knew we moved him there 2 weeks ago. That he was brought there because he was having to testify in the grand jury shit. They didn't just say, okay, let's, move to New York. Let's go back to New York and everything's fine and dandy. No, he was ordered to come to New York because he was testifying in some grand jury stuff. Not only, and the grand jury was going after him. Not only is it the sex trafficking stuff, but I also told you all about an incident that happened in a hotel room with his ex-girlfriend Cassidy, one of her friends, the young lady that he hung over the balcony by her breast. Now that's the verbiage in the court documents. What had happened was it was Cassidy's birthday or his birthday. I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was one of their birthdays. And he was into watching other people have sex with his girl. There are some people out there that are like that. He is one of those people. He had took her. They were at a party. He took her to her room. They did what he had her perform, whatever it is that he had her perform with other people. She was completely intoxicated. And these are testimonies from her friends. She was completely intoxicated, went back to her hotel room. She had a huge suite at a place. A bunch of her girlfriends came there. Apparently, Diddy got upset. He came into the room. If anybody knows anything about Diddy, he has a really bad temper. He is really big time fucking narcissistic psychopath. He came in the room. The girl had said something to him. He did not like it. He took the girl, picked her up by her fucking chest area, and literally hung her over the grand jury. I'm sorry, over the balcony. So that was one of the incidents because that victim was also testifying in the grand jury. Stuff that has been going on for the last couple weeks. One thing about grand juries, they are not overnight and they move at their pace. Just because you have a grand jury trial does not mean you're going to hear about it from the same day. Most likelihood, you're not going to hear about it for a little bit because grand juries will go after every single thing. And so they're acting like, and I'm going to finish playing this interview, but I'm going to stop him in his fucking tracks because they're acting like that he just moved up there because he just missed New York and he wants to be a good citizen. No, homie, you got brought back up there because you was testifying in the grand jury shit and they were digging in your ass. And like I also said when I told you this a couple weeks ago, I said he was going to be being picked up towards the end of summer. I said that a couple months ago as well. Everybody's like, he's never going to get picked up. Gotta listen to survivors because the survivor community knows shit.
He is dealing with it head on. Boy, he's dealt with every challenge in his life, and he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges.
Now you hear him say he's not guilty.
He's not guilty. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. Sorry, buddy. Your time has came. 2024 is not leaving any crumbs. We're taking all the predators as much as we can and putting them in fucking boxes. So, jail cells. Unfortunately, that's all we can do right now. But yeah. Haha. And I truly believe that you guys, it's going to take a minute, but I truly believe you're going to start seeing other things come to light as well. When that's going to happen, I can't really put a pinpoint on it because this case has taken a long time just to get to where it's at. But I'm telling y'all, people around him, there's other powerful people being investigated.
When this indictment was unsealed, they knew about the indictment. We knew a grand jury was convened back in July regarding a federal probe into Diddy, but he is learning the details just as we are learning the details. And Marnie, I will be back with those in quite a bit. You're going to be reading through it, Caitlin. Just one quick question, and I'm not sure if we know the answer to this yet, but will he remain in custody or will he be released today? Do we yet know? We don't know, and that is something that will be decided at the hearing, which begins 10 a.m. Eastern time. We expect him to plead not guilty, as his attorney said, and we also expect his attorney to, of course, for him to be released on bail or bond. Now, we do know that he recently relocated to New York to cooperate with this investigation, so he knew charges were forthcoming, and this is according to his attorney. So I think the goal there likely will be for them to ask to release him on probably a very high bond and say he's not going to be a flight risk, likely to surrender his passport, but he has a lot of means, so there's a chance he could remain behind bars, but that remains to be seen. All right, we'll let you continue to monitor and read through the charging documents. Caitlin Becker in New York, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
So I'm going to look and see if I can.
Did in his paper.
Well, at least they finally said he moved to New York because he's knows he's under investigation. So.
Don't forget to click
All right, so this chick, I really like this chick. She does a lot of celebrity stuff. We're gonna listen into on some of the stuff she says. She is really good about breaking shit down. She's actually. All right, I'm gonna wait until because she's reading the thing now, and I don't want to jump in the middle of her reading that. All right, let's see. He should be. It's 10:49 now, so there should be some stuff.
That's where Manhattan is. So they got a lot of resources up there.
Okay, it looks like this one is just starting to read the end. Oh, yep, good. Okay, this young man, this is a lawyer that we're going to listen to. He's actually going to read the indictment. The reason why I'm looking for somebody to read the indictment is that way you guys can hear it, and I just don't like reading shit. So we're going to listen to this man. He just literally started 44 seconds ago. He is an attorney, so I completely. Well, I mean, we don't trust attorneys, but I know he's going to read the indictment right. So, I know it's a different subject, but I heard Trump is flying around. Yes, KT. So that came out about, I want to say what, Shelly or anybody, about a month ago. I want to say it was right after the first attempt of him being pew-pewed. I think. My brain's so discombobulated, but I think it was. Anyway, they tried to act like they didn't know it was Epstein's plane, crock of shit. They rented the plane because Trump's plane broke down and they got it wrapped. It's all wrapped and everything. And then, somebody, I don't know, I guess ran the serial number or something like that. Cause there's people everywhere in the airports. There's people everywhere. And they found out and leaked that it was Epstein's plane actually. And of course, Trump's camp was like, oh, we had no idea. Yeah, okay. And I'm fucking a dinosaur. Okay. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, now I'll be honest, just to be fair, I'm not for sure if they switched planes. I doubt it. I think that he still has the plane and is probably still flying around in it. But for the devil's advocate aspect of things, yeah, I'm not for sure if they switched planes or not. But I didn't hear of anything about him turning and switching planes. But yes, he is in Epstein's plane. They got it wrapped with the whole Trump stuff. And his team acts like they just, sorry, I just didn't know. Yeah, okay. Wild world we live in, baby. Wild world. So, all right. I'm going to play some of this because he's going to get into this. You guys can come in. You can leave. I get it. But I do want us to hear it. If I can get... Really?
We'll stop.
There we go.
And also, they tend to be one of the more well-financed and more prestigious offices of the federal government. So, of its 94...
Can you guys hear good?
The Southern District of New York may be the most famous. And it's definitely notable. So, it's like, yep, they're definitely bringing their A game. All right, so let's see what Sean did. What did you do? All right, racketeering. All right, great. Good, we're on our way to RICO. I love it already.
RICO!
That's great. All right, fine. It may be RICO, my friends. The grand jury charges that for decades, Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant,
420, we love you, baby. Have a great day.
Coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Okay. To do so, Combs
I'm gonna have to roll up on this one.
And influences of a multi-faced business empire that he fed and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempt to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapped, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice.
Arson?
We're off to a great start here. All right, so we've got racketeering, conspiracy, and presumably we're going to do enterprise corruption at some point too, because we turned our legitimate business into an illegitimate business. And so, yeah, that's good. We're on our way.
We're on our way.
Sean Combs, Puff Diddy, PD, and Love operated his businesses, headquartered in various.
I fucking love this, dude. I love this.
There you go.
I love when abusers fucking go down.
Many of United States-based corporate entities, including Backboy Entertainment, Combs Entertainment, and Combs Global. The corporate entities into the Combs businesses included, among other things, a record label, recording studio, apparel line, alcoholic spirits business, marketing agency, and telephone network and media company. Back in the time when it was legitimate, yeah, that's probably some of the things they were doing. And that would be fine because, those are all legal things. And then you did illegal things, and that's less okay. At all times relevant to the indictment, they're going to really spell his names every single time. That's okay, I'll say it every single time because it's funny. At all times relevant to the indictment, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. The abuse at times was verbal, emotional, physical.
Sorry, honey, he's going down.
Combs manipulated women to participating.
Diddy's gonna be playing with everybody else's Diddy's in prison.
Sexual activity. Now, commercial sex.
You ain't getting out of this, homie. And y'all don't time nobody out. He's fine.
Essentially forcing women to engage in prostitution as Johns.
What's up, sis? It's a good day for survivors and victims. And the abuser getting charged.
Situations you are to prostitute. Right? That's what you normally are thinking of in that kind of situation. You get the women and you coerce them into being prostitutes. That's normally what you read. But in this situation, apparently, we're manipulating the women into being Johns, which is
bottom
an
bitches.
odd take on the situation, but that's what I guess we're
Hold
doing.
on. I'm going to explain this real quick. Hold on. This phone.
Made arrangements for women and the commercial sex workers to fly.
I want to explain this real quick because they're talking about how he's like, man, I've never really heard about this. He's using girls to be Johns and different things like that. They will have women to play every single role. They will have women to play the bottom bitch, which organizes all the women. They will have women buying things, which can make them Johns. Or victims. Let me say victims because in this situation, not all the victims are just women. There are males involved in this as well. Just like in most cases, but specifically in this case, there's a lot of males being used in this. But they will use women to do any and everything because as long as we can get the victims or whatever to do it, however they're looking at them, you know what I mean? But they're victims regardless. I don't care if they're a bottom bitch. I don't care what they are. They're still victims. So they'll use those things because it's less likelihood. Everything's allegedly, but I mean, the grand jury's got a shit. But thank you for reminding me, Jody, to say allegedly. Allegedly, they will use women he has used women to play all different parts of this. And they do that because I'm a human trafficking survivor, for those that don't know. They do that to keep the less attention off of the pimp, the handler, the whatever they're calling themselves. And in this aspect, allegedly, P. Diddy Combs. And so that's why things like that will happen. That is very normal in the trafficking world because, again, if we can keep the attention and crimes away from the handler, the pimp, the trafficker, yada, yada, yada. All right, let's go back to what we're doing. Come on, man.
to the location. All right, guys. You heard that, right? You heard the fly part?
That's right.
You
Only
heard
the
that
strong
fly
survive, baby.
to his location?
Here I am.
And the alarm bells are going off in your head. You're not thinking federal, man. It's like, oh, we're transporting the people
Right.
across state lines.
That's what's making things federal.
Purpose of forcing them into sex acts.
Right.
Oh, that's trafficking.
All day.
That's the trafficking. Yeah, if the alarm bells aren't going off in your head, it's like you're not paying attention. Yeah. Comes in short participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics from them.
100% KT. There's tons of women, and there's a lot of women that have, and men. I just want to keep. I just want to keep. I want to keep saying that because in this, of course, we are used to hearing women as victims, but I can tell you, as a survivor of human trafficking and a survivor of a lot of shit, there are a lot of men that also get abused in this. And especially, like I said, in this particular case, there are lots of men that allegedly are victims. So there has been a lot of people that have came out. There have been people that have came out for over years and years and decades and spoke on him and other powerful people. This is what happens all the time. You have powerful people, whether they're politicians, whether they're actors, actresses, musicians, whatever, politicians, whatever. They'll play this powerful role, and damn, Diddy. Honey, he's gonna need a little bit of everything because I don't think he's getting out of this one, baby. I don't think he's getting out of this one. But we'll see, because again, we also are dealing with a corrupt system, which I also believe, just like in Epstein, I believe that. Okay, some people are not going to understand when I say this, but for me, as a survivor and as somebody that now does the work in the anti-human trafficking movement, I personally feel that in this time and age, in 2024, I believe Diddy's is bigger than Epstein. And the reason why I say that is because, one, the times are different. Obviously, Epstein was a while back. We know we all went through that trial, went to New York, supported the survivors and victims up there. If you didn't know, go look at my videos. They're there. Anyway, I believe personally that this is, Diddy's bigger than Epstein, because what happens is, especially in these public things, people learn, you know what I mean? And I believe that he is a product of all of that as well, because some of the same people that were involved in the Epstein shit, if you do your investigation and you do your research, you can see that and the Weinstein and the R. Kelly, there's people that all kind of are in that same circle. You know what I mean? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Influences make him bigger. Exactly. So I just think that he is, both of Epstein and him are both evil, in my opinion. They're disgusting in what they have done to people, men and women. And I hope they get everything they fucking deserve. But just with the times and just with the ages, and Diddy, to whereas Epstein had a certain population of people, like he was powerful people, politicians, a lot of things like that, right? Even some like princes and shit. Whereas P. Diddy, he is in all of those same categories as well. You know what I mean? I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but I think you guys are following me. So let's get back to the video.
Physical abuse by Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant, were recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least in or about to 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at various times witnessed by others, and at least in one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or around March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported.
That's right, sissy. That's right, my baby.
She was
the bigger they are, the harder they fall, but down they go. I promise you they will. Every dog has their day.
To employs witnesses to his abuse and others. Nice that he's equal opportunity, I guess.
Shit.
Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love used the Combs businesses, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up and abuse.
So, Shelly, when I say, I promise you guys, there's going to be other people, and I've said this from the beginning, those that have followed me and listened to me, I'm telling you, I strongly, wholeheartedly believe before it's all said and done with. Now, again, it's going to take some time because as we see, when you take a big old monster down, it doesn't happen overnight. Everybody was like, he had his house raided, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, they also raided his, I guess he's staying in an Airbnb or some shit like that, wherever he's staying at. Last night when they arrested him, they went in there and raided that shit too, just to see if they have anything. So I want to throw that out there too. But I do strongly believe wholeheartedly that yes, Jay-Z and a couple other, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everybody going down with the ship. Let's hope anyway. Because, yeah, I do believe that Jay-Z was 100. I mean, come on, y'all. Look at the whole Aaliyah thing. If anybody knows the backstory, look how, because, yeah, we all know that R. Kelly was married to her. But if you know the history of it, he's not the only person that went after her. Jay-Z wanted her so bad, it was disgusting. So, just lots here, you guys. And there's years and years of this shit. Decades. Let me shut up so y'all can hear this, because it's some good shit.
That would be the enterprise corruption. If New York isn't already filing a lawsuit for enterprise corruption, I'd be amazed. But yes, when you take a legitimate business and you start to do illegitimate things.
What's up, Dolan? How are you doing, babe?
That's called enterprise corruption. Okay, because you've taken the legitimate business and you've now polluted it with illegal things, and that's illegal. And, among other things, it would allow the state government, because businesses are regulated under state law, it would allow the state government to seize the business and to appoint an administrator and have the state run the businesses themselves. So New York itself may wind up being the owner and operator of P. Diddy's business enterprises, run by the state of New York. Could happen. So we're going that way.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, what did you do? From at least in or about 2018 through about the day of the filing. Really? He's continuing up to the present day? Damn. Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy, PD, Love, the defendant,
all these
known
fucking
and
names.
others known and unknown, were members and associates of a criminal organization, also known as the Comb Enterprises or Enterprises. It became a criminal organization. Members and associates of the Comb Enterprises engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, that means transporting the people across state lines, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, which is trafficking.
Have a wonderful day, Michelle. I do have to work tonight. I don't know if we're going to do a panel, and maybe if Christine feels better, we might do a panel later on tonight for anybody that wants to come up and chit chat or whatever. But I do have to work tonight, so that's why I wanted to. I actually got some sleep, thank goodness. I wanted to get up and cover this today, but you can always come back and rewatch it, and you know how to get a hold of me. I love you, love you, love you. Kick the world's ass. Don't let the world kick your ass. Let's go back to the video.
Coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction. Yeah. The Combs Enterprises, including its leadership, members, and associates, constitute an enterprise as defined by law. That is, a group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. It could be a legal entity, and in this case, is a legal entity, but it doesn't have to be. So, if you form a group, because that would be the mafia, right? A mafia is an enterprise too. So it doesn't have to be a legitimate enterprise. In this case, it was, but, it doesn't have to be. The Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, Love.
That's all right.
Entities within the Combs businesses, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global.
Shit.
Individuals employed by and associated with Combs, and others known and unknown. Right. The Combs Enterprises consist of an ongoing organization.
Hey, I wish I was responsible for taking his ass down, Kid Go. I promise you. I wish I was. I wish I could say that, but this one's not on me.
We're just setting up RICO predicates.
How are you doing today, baby?
It's like, well, we got our active route, yeah, it's like, yeah. The Combs Enterprise constitutes an ongoing organization whose members function as a continuing unit for common purposes of achieving the objectives of Combs. The Combs Enterprises were engaged in the affected activities included interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprises operated in the Southern District of New York, which is what gives the jurisdictional hook for the feds. Not that the Southern District of New York usually needs to look for it, because usually they can find it, but here that's where they're based, so that makes that real easy. At other times relative to the indictment, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love was the leader of the Combs Enterprise. I mean, fair enough. He's the mafia don. Sean Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, PD, Love,
and that's,
the defendant, and others known and unknown participated in unlawful.
That's what makes it beautiful because, I mean, let's face it, he definitely has a huge enterprise going on, right? A lot of different things. Because as we all know, that's been following this. Yes, sex trafficking and all that is not the only thing that he's being investigated for. This man is being investigated for bodies. He's being invested for drugs. He's being invested for a whole lot of shit. Hence the racketeering. So, I guess it's only fitting that the same district that took down the mob is going to take down him.
And other activities related to conduct of Combs Enterprises. These individuals included
Which
certain
the
business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates. Good. Purpose of the Combs Enterprises. The purpose of the Combs Enterprises included the following. Operating a global business in media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, recording studios, apparel lines, alcoholic spirits, marketing, and television network. See, all that was legal. Part A is legal. You can do all those things. You can run a record label, you can run a recording studio, you can run an apparel line, alcoholic spirits, although you're going to want to, take care of state law on that one because of the, 18th and 21st Amendments, respectively. Marketing agencies, telephone, yeah, all that's legal. All those things would be fine. Part B, where things might start getting a little less legal, we'll say, preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power. Did the U.S. attorney try for the alliteration? I mean, are they going for? Are they trying? Preserving, promoting, protecting, and enhancing the power. Okay. Reputation and brand of Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant, as musician, entrepreneur, and figure in the media industry. That's legal too. Enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, and particularly those who determine loyal and willingness to conceal his crimes. See, that part's less legal. Giving bonuses to your employees because they do a good job, legal. One of the jobs they do, concealing your crimes, less legal.
Right.
Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the powers of Combs Enterprises, including the power of its leader, which that part's legal, but the means maybe less so, right? So preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the leader of the business, all that's legal. The means chosen are the problem. In this case, violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse. Not legal means towards the end. Fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, legal. Particularly related to sexual gratification, also legal. Including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers, illegal.
Right. Can't do that.
Enabling Combs and other members of the associates of Combs to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sex violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, coercion and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics distribution, and other crimes.
Yeah.
Securing absolute loyalty from members of Combs Enterprises, legal, including through acts of violence, illegal. protecting the Combs Enterprise members and associates, including Combs, from detection and prosecution by law enforcement authorities through acts of intimidation, manipulation, bribery, and threats of retaliation against individuals who witness crimes. All very illegal. It's not going great over here. Means and method of the
They
enterprise.
gonna get his ass.
Among other means and methods by which Song Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love, and other members and associates conducted and participated in the conduct of the Combs Enterprise include the following. Combs and other members of Combs Enterprise wielded power and prestige of Combs' role at Combs Business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit. I like the imagery. I'm not sure if it's over the top or not. I don't know. I can't quite decide if it's over the top or not, but it's okay. Yeah, lure into the orbit. I don't know, man. Something about the phrasing is maybe a little bit too much, but for my taste. But you could disagree. Often under pretense of a romantic relationship, Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Okay, freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs.
I'm just gonna say, don't think Trump's not involved in some of this shit. He hasn't been a client.
In arranging these freak-offs,
Because as I've said for years, Trump is definitely a client. But I don't know if he's gonna get caught up in this shit. Seems to get himself out of shit.
They keep using the phrase commercial.
Well, I'll tell you what, that'll be.
Sure why, but the more and more I hear them use
Those videotapes are gonna be a lot.
I'm just like envisioning like a. It envisions like an.
Can I be honest with you guys on something? This is what I'm very interested. I will be in New York for this shit too. When this trial happens, I will be there. It's gonna be a while though. Probably years. But anyway, so I believe wholeheartedly that Epstein did not kill himself. I think that he was killed. And I believe that if you've done your research, and I know people say, well, summer people take pictures with everybody. Okay, but like a lot of the same people that are in Weinstein's case and things like that is also in Epstein stuff. And the same people that are in Epstein stuff is some of the same people as in P. Diddy shit, right? Because these powerful circles all move together. I believe that Epstein was killed because of videos. I believe that there was a lot pictures and videos probably that tied some very, very high people to what he was doing. And I think that what's so crazy about power and control is they'll show you everything. I mean, they'll show you everything and people still deny and be like, nope, 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 they were just friends, or it was a business meeting, or, he did, whatever, whoever the persons may be. I believe, and I'm just going to make a premonition, I think before it's all said and done with, Diddy will also be unalived. Because there are going to be some of those same people, if not even more powerful people, in some of the videos that he's done, and they are not going to want that released. We are still waiting for lists to come out in the Epstein case. I've told you all about this before. You guys have seen some lists, but those are not the lists that we're waiting on. We're waiting on the list that has like names on them, names you all haven't heard before, or names that have been thrown around but debunked. And it still ain't happening. So these are the problems with the courts. No matter who's the perpetrator, it seems that there's always a way to protect the clients. So we'll see how this one goes down. But mark my words, said it here first. I think that's what's going to happen eventually. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I don't think it's going to happen in the next couple days. I think this is going to be a long out process. I think Epstein got very cocky. There was an interview, if you guys remember, of him sitting, I want to say, in an interview room with the police, the feds, and he looked at them, and the way that he looked at him, P. Diddy also does the same looks. It's that cockiness. It's that I'm not worried about it because I gotcha type of shit, right? And then not, then he was unalive. So there's that. If they had anything on Trump, it would have came out. Shelley, that's not true. And things have came out and people deny them. So there's that. But this isn't about Trump right now. So we're not going to make it about him. So there's that. There's tons of things that came out on Trump and no one believes it. And there's that.
Business. Like I'm going to Burger King or something and picking up a commercial sex worker.
Trump's not the only powerful person that's caught up in this shit.
Something about the phrasing, as you hear more and more of it, it's just funny to me. We don't want to call them prostitutes, though, for some reason, even though that's clearly what they are. But we'll call them commercial sex workers, I guess, because that sounds nicer. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasting multiple days, and involving multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed
Trump's name has definitely been thrown around, not just the Clintons.
in part to keep these victims obedient and compliant.
But again, it's not about him. This is P. Diddy's bullshit right now.
Commercial dock workers and sex workers, both part of Local 234. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I appreciate that you have a similar mindset. What would a union for prostitutes be like? That would be an interesting concept. What would a union for prostitutes be like? Well,
there's unions for strippers and shit because we did that years ago. So I mean, it can happen.
Interesting union negotiation. Pressing on. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise include high-ranking supervisors, security staff, equal pay for equal lay. Green-eyed Southern girl, you get 1 bonus point. That is a great comment. I approve. That is a great comment. Equal pay for equal lay. That is hilarious. +1 channel point. You are a champion. Members and associates of Combs Enterprises, including
making jokes about a sex trafficking case.
Security staff, household staff, personal
classy.
assistants, and Combs Business Enterprises.
Oh, people get on my nerves.
Facilitate the freak-offs, including, among other things, booking hotel rooms for freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies. Do I want to know what the required freak-off supplies are? I'm not sure I do. Including controlled substances. Okay, they're going to tell me. Including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. Cleaning hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage. Well, it's nice at least they clean up after themselves, so I'll give them a +1 point for that. I mean, many rock stars just trash rooms, but at least they're making an effort to clean up after themselves. So they took their mother's advice and cleaned up after themselves. So they get +1 point for trying to clean up. That's a good thing to do. Okay. Arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from the freak-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay for commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids.
Do you all remember? Okay, so when the raid started happening, there was a white boy that was with P. Diddy. They were at the airport, him and his daughters, and this dude. All of them were about to get on a plane. They arrested him, right? They arrested him on drug trafficking. There was not a backpack. There was a fanny pack or whatever the fuck you call those things everybody used to wear on his waist. In those fanny packs, him and the people that there was a lady too that's also involved in all this. Anyway, in those little fanny packs, they would keep drugs and different things like that. Because Diddy wanted them, and then also other, to keep women intoxicated. I can't just say women because it's not just women in this case, victims, because there's just as many men in this case as there are women as far as victims goes, and that's something that's a little bit different than some of the other cases. Anyway, they would keep those fanny packs, and they would have all kinds of different drugs, condoms, different shit like that in them because they always wanted to be able to have whatever they wanted right then and there. So that's Drug mule. Yep, 100%.
Cool. In or about March 2024, during short searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies. Ah, freak-off! Tashik, Sashik, freak-off! Okay, including narcotics and more than
Nothing funny
1,000
about this.
bottles,
Fucking
baby
idiot.
oil and lubricant. Nice.
I really wanted to have my girl listen to her while she was reading it, but she was already almost done, so I have to deal with him. But he's doing a good job. It's just his jokes.
Combs subjected the victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in the freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims
Yes.
through, among other things, physical violence.
Yes, he has children. He has daughters and sons.
And threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts. Sounds like it could be stalking. Dictating the victim's appearance. Well, that part's probably, trying to separate the legal from the illegal in this is
That's a part of trafficking. They have to keep them to look a certain way, make sure everything's done a certain thing. So that's a part of it.
So track them. Okay, that might be stalking. Maybe that's legal.
Yes, it's a part of trafficking as well.
Someone what to wear. I mean, that's might be legal. But I do love the fact that I'm trying to gradiate like what is legal and what is illegal in this horror show indictment. But you gotta bring some levity to it somehow. So we gotta do something. Monitoring their medical records. Again, if you're not doing that with consent, that could be a problem. Controlling their housing. If you're forcing them to live certain places, that's a problem.
Yeah,
and supplying them with controlled substances. Okay, that's just flat out illegal. Unless you're a doctor, which I'm pretty sure you're not. During and separate from the freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kick, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. See, that's not nice. Don't do that. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihood, including if they resisted participating in the freak-off. Victims believed they could not refuse the demands without risking their job security withholding repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Yeah, you can't do that. That's and also that's
you might get hit with some labor. You might get hit with some labor trafficking as well. Yeah.
Discrimination on the basis of sex. You've got some civil rights violations. You got some civil liability here too. Okay, good times. Combs also used the extensive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings he made as collateral to ensure obedience. Otherwise, that's called extortion. That's called extortion. Why don't you just say that though? Why are you just dancing around it? U.S. government. Why don't you just say the word? It's called extortion. When you use information to try to force someone to do something they don't want to do, that's called extortion. That's illegal.
Yep. That'd be illegal.
Members and associates of Combs Enterprises, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms, which may be legal. Check your jurisdiction. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried, which might be legal, or brandished, which is not, to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches of the residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s. Three AR-15s. Okay. With defaced serial numbers as well as drum magazines. Members and associates of Combs Enterprises enabled Combs control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to victims, advancing or suppressing his victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances. Members and associates of Combs Enterprises at times witnessed Combs' violence towards the victims or victims injured by Combs without intervening, which they don't necessarily have to intervene, by the way, no affirmative duty. But, instead, members and associates helped conceal the violence. See, that you can't do. You may not necessarily have to help, right? No affirmative duty. You may not necessarily have to help. So can you see, if you're employed by a business and you see your
Bruno, what's up, sweetie?
Are you allowed to do nothing about it? Generally speaking, yes. Generally speaking, yes. You are allowed to do nothing about it because no affirmative duty.
Yes, he's in custody. He actually was sorry, I had to feed the kitties. They were hungry. They're like, "Come on, lady, feed me, Seymour." So he was actually supposed to. The feds were going to allow him to turn himself in today. If you all guys remember, a couple weeks ago, I did talk about how he has been in New York. There has been a grand jury hearing going on, all that, right? So they had made a deal to where he could turn himself in to today. He was supposed to. But last night, the feds did what they wanted to do and went and picked his ass up. And so he's been in federal custody. He had court at 10 o'clock. After we get done listening, right now we're listening to a lawyer read the indictments and all that kind of shit, so everybody can hear that. And there should be some updates coming out soon on whether he is going to get a bond release or whatever.
So yeah.
You wonder if you'll get an interview. We'll get an interview about what? From him? Probably not, but we'll see.
Okay. These occasions included
his lawyers might
the
say
victim
something.
was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several times a day, to recover from injuries inflicted without being publicly observed. Members and associates.
And we also know from the Cassidy incident, from things that she has said, obviously he had doctors, which most power forwards people do. They have doctors on call. And so he would, beat the shit out of these women, do all this different, and men, the victims. Because in his case, again, I'm going to keep saying it's not just women. There are men in his case as well as victims. And he would have the doctor come in, fix them up, try to keep them out of the hospitals and different things like that.
Of Combs also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. That's not great.
So there's also rumors of that he has like these, I forget what they're called, but like they're like contracts or whatever, that he has like everybody around him sign to where like they can't be talking about shit, all this, just all this other crazy weird shit. But he would do things like that. And then obviously he would definitely have use physical force as well.
When employees
allegedly
to his abuse or others threatened Combs' authorities or reputation, Combs and members of his associations engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial or reputational harm, and verbal abuse. These acts of violence included kidnapping and arson. Neat. In addition, on mobile occasions, Combs threw both objects and people. He threw people?
Yep.
Oh, I mean, it's what it says. As well as dragged, choked, and shoved others.
Oh, and he kicked, because we've seen that, right? We've seen the video of him kicking.
Or legal or law enforcement action.
Oh, he was supposed to have till Tuesday? Well, yeah, today's Tuesday, right?
Combs and members and associates of the enterprise pressured
That's right.
witness victims, including threatened bribery. That's illegal. You can't threaten witnesses to a crime. You can't bribe witnesses to a crime. That's illegal.
Well, yeah, they
That's illegal.
Let me pause this real quick because I don't want to miss any of the stuff he's reading. So as I had said a couple weeks ago, non-disclosure agreement. Yes, 100%. That's what I call it. Thank you, New York. This is why we do this together. But as I had said a couple weeks ago, I don't know if I said it on the People's Podcast or I know I've said it over here as well. But like I said, there was a grand jury. There has been a grand jury hearing going on for a while. So yes. this was not, oh, let's just go to New York because I miss everybody. No, he was there because there was a grand jury hearing going on with all kinds of different things. And it's been going on for a little bit. I agree. Holding passport won't do shit.
There's video of him throwing a girl in a hotel. I'll take your word for it. It's just okay.
Well, one of the grand jury things, so the girl being thrown in the hotel, one, Cassidy, we all seen the video of that. Then also one of the things for the grand jury, as I was telling you all, one of Cassidy's friends that he got pissed off at, and literally, it says in the paperwork, picked her up by her breasts and hung her over the balcony. So that was also another thing that I know has been talked about in this grand jury thing, because that victim had been called back a couple different times actually to come back. So again, grand jury things do not happen overnight. You don't hear about it the same day usually. It's usually a process. I agree, but an ankle bracelet with GPS might. Nah, that ain't gonna stop shit.
He threw a girl in a hotel.
I mean, he'll probably get those things, but
Thank you for
if
the
he wants,
information.
how many people we all know do what they want? Ankle bracelets.
And through bribery to stay so it's not reflected.
But yeah, he'll probably get the passport and the maybe a bracelet.
Not to do it. That's cool.
I don't think they'll keep him in.
Required to do it, right? So as long
They should keep him in, but I don't think they will. I think he'll get out. We'll see.
Speaking does not have an obligation to inform the police actively about what they witnessed. So again, if I saw my employer beating the shit out of a woman and I decide to do nothing about it, that's my prerogative. I'm not required to do something about it. If I try to conceal it, now I have a problem. If my employer pays me not to report it, that's a problem, right? He can't do that. I can choose not to do it out of my own free will. But if he pressures me or bribes me to do it, that's a problem. So as long as we want to learn these gradations in law, I'm here to help. The racketeering conspiracy. Rico, 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 Rico. From in or at least 2008 through or about the dates of the filing of this indictment in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant, and others known and unknown, persons employed by and associated with Combs Enterprise, described in paragraphs 6 through 12, in an enterprise engaged in the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce.
Well, that's what
combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed with each other to violate the
that's what those non-disclosure agreements, right? That he has everybody signed around him. I'm sure those have all those in them. Like, can't say shit what goes on, da 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 da, all that. Plus, he uses force and violence to, get people not to do shit too, as well, allegedly.
Racketeering law of the United States. That is to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of affairs through the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering. Rico, 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 Rico. Consisting of multiple acts involving kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law, and then we cite some provisions. Multiple acts, and by the way, for that matter, the state acts could themselves be predicate acts for a federal crime, right? So they state crimes can be a predicate act. So like these are state law violations, but nevertheless, as part of a pattern of activity that goes across state lines.
What's up, Tuli? How are you doing, babe?
We have crimes occurring wholly within the state of California, to which those crimes in and of themselves, the federal government doesn't really have much say insofar as it goes. But now we combine them with other exciting crimes in other exciting jurisdictions, and we have people transporting across state lines and so forth and so on. So these state crimes now become an element in a federal crime. Exciting and fun. And so we did the kidnapping under various provisions of California law, multiple acts involving arson involving California law, multiple acts indictable under U.S. Code for tampering with a witness, multiple violations of U.S. Code for forced labor, which has been illegal for a little while now. Did you know that? Did you know forced labor has been illegal for a little while now? Sure. It's true. We had a constitutional amendment over it and everything. multiple acts indictable relating to sex trafficking, multiple acts indictable relating to transportation and inducement to travel for the purpose of prostitution, which is trafficking, multiple offenses including possession with intent to distribute or distribution of a whole bunch of controlled substances, and aiding and abetting there too. Is part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of activity involving the conduct, which is a predicate for the RICO. You need at least 2 acts occurring within a 10-year time period for federal RICO. You need at least 2 acts occurring within a 10-year time period that are part of a contemporaneous series of events. There is a nexus requirement for the events to be related to like the same thing. So it's a little bit hard to describe in words. I make this point, by the way, because, for example, Georgia, when they were charging Trump, they don't have this requirement, or they have a much looser version of it. So the reason I'm trying to describe is like trying to provide some value here. So different states obviously have different versions. In the federal version, for it to count as RICO, it's a little hard to describe, but it has to be involved. It has to be related to the same fundamental purpose, I guess would be the best way of putting it. Like the same overarching, they have to have a connected thread. They have to be related in a connected event. So you can't, as for federal RICO, you can't like have a kidnapping and like a racketeering and like a bribery and like a thing that are all distinct, that like they have to be interrelated. So the fact that they are interrelated is a predicate factor for the RICO.
Right.
So just to let you know something. From up to at least 2009 until up to about 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, part of the agreement to conduct and participate in the conduct of affairs of the Combs enterprise through the pattern of racketeering, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and PD, and Love,
All his fucking names.
agreed to in affecting interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly to recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, advertise, maintain, patronize, and solicit by any means a person known and in reckless disregard of the fact that the means of force, threats of force, fraud, coercion, and any combination of such means in violation of the law. Yep, it's not going great. Sex trafficking. Count 2. So count 1 was our RICO, or was our racketeering. Count 2, sex trafficking. From in or about 2009 up to about 2018, in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, Love, the defendant, in and affecting
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot coming out.
Knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means of person.
Yep.
Knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described by law, and any combination of such means, would be used to cause the person to engage in a commercial sex act and attempt, aid, and abetted, and willfully cause the same, to wit. Combs recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained a person, and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willful cause victim 1 to engage in commercial sex acts, known in reckless disregard by the fact that victim 1 was engaged in commercial sex acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion. Exciting. Count 3. Transportation to engage in prostitution. From at least 2009 up until 2024.
I have to agree, AJ. I mean, hold on.
Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, Love, the defendant, knowingly transported an individual.
So, I agree with you. Now, I will say this. I do believe that P. Diddy was definitely involved in a whole lot. And so he, yes, is going to get thrown under the bus in the aspect of there will be a lot of elites that were involved in this and will not be held accountable, just like in the Epstein case, just like in all of these cases, all of them. And that's the ridiculous part. That's the part that we have to change. But he definitely played his part. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I agree as far as that he won't. There'll be people that are connected to this case that are higher ups that will never get touched. But yeah, he's not. I don't consider him more of a scapegoat because he was definitely a participant in all of this. So yeah, but yeah, 100%. All right, let's get to her and you know I'm also listen have an ear to all of it because there is no way that internationally this also isn't, you know, they're like there's not some international shit tied to all of this as well. I don't believe this is something that just took on into the states. And also, again, as most of us know that have been following this case or have been following Diddy for whatever, however long, again, sex trafficking, racketeering, all these different things. He's also tied to some murders. There's been talks of, you know, him maybe having something to do allegedly with his ex-wife. Also the, you know, Tupac and Biggie thing. There's also been lots of rumors on the streets that was involved in all of that. So I believe there's going to be a lot that comes out in all of this, and there are some very powerful people that are tied to this, just like in the rest of these cases. And unfortunately, they won't see a day of accountability. But I have no issue with him going to jail because he definitely orchestrated a lot. He's not just a, oh, poor guy. No, he knew what the fuck he was doing. That's right. That's true. That's the same thing that happened to Epstein and the same thing that happened to Weinstein. Um, but yeah, he definitely owns his part in all of it, as we all know. He is not an innocent bystander.
In interstate and foreign commerce with intent to engage in prostitution.
But that's what
which is
powerful
pretty
people do,
illegal.
right? That's what the elites do. They hide behind
Funds transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused
suckers.
transportation of female victims and commercial sex workers. Again, there's that phrase, commercial sex workers. Commercial sex workers makes me want.
Well, there's a lot of people actually. And I talked about this as well. I also, dude, get over it. It's called commercial sex workers. It's 2024. Fuck. Anyway, don't you know word verbiage on a lot of words are fucking changing. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, sorry. I just felt like I know he's not going to hear me, but I feel like I had to say that to the lawyer. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, Bruno. There has been a lot of people actually. Yeah, 100%, Katrina. Um, there has been a lot of people that have been speaking, and the feds have been getting interviews and testimonies and all kinds of stuff. Again, a lot of people didn't even realize that there's been a grand jury going on in New York for a couple weeks, for a little bit now. And he's been up there because he's had, you know, had to be um, for some things apparently. And he did have until today by the feds to turn himself in, but the feds went and picked him up last night. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of people attached to this, and there are women and men that have spoke up. There have been people that have been close to him that have spoke up. I do believe though there will be more people that come forward and speak up because that's usually how this works. And I don't think they're going to wait until he's in prison because that can is already starting to open up. Come on, fucker.
I want to see.
And I want to say thank you to everybody that's joining in because, again, this is the indictment. This is the paperwork that he is reading and he's breaking it down. That way we can all understand because this is going to be a huge case. It is a huge case and there's going to be a lot of moving parts. And the more we can all understand together, that'll be, you know, it'll be good.
If the prostitutes of Nevada need organization, do we need to start handing out union cards at brothels?
It's gonna be crazy
in Nevada.
It already is.
See if we can get these part of a local. That'll be great. They'll join the Teamsters. It'll be fantastic. Woof. Too funny.
Well, maybe he should know that there's actually. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to finish that right now.
As a result of committing the offense and alleged in count 1 of this indictment, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, and PD, the defendant, shall forfeit to the United States any and all interest. So basically criminal asset forfeiture, which I have zero problem with intellectually. Once you're convicted, give us all the things.
And then also last night when the feds picked him up where he was staying at, they also went through all, raided it or whatever you want to call it, went through all that shit too. So just FYI. Miguel, what's up, babe?
Yep. So we want, so we want any interest, security, which, securities is like stock. So we want interest, securities, claims against property, contractual rights of any source of influence the enterprise named. So the U.S. government might wind up running Combs Enterprises, which would also be hilarious. Combs Enterprises brought to you by the DOJ. The DOJ is over here like, I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. And you're like, yes, you are. You are, in fact, the shady of the shadies, my friend. No one holds a candle to you. Yeah, respect. Respect. You think we get the AG to start throwing down some bars? That'd be good. The Merrick.
Oh, come on, get back to
the Merrick Garland rap. The Merrick Garland diss track. Does this qualify as a diss track? If not, maybe we can put the music or something. That'd be funny. I'm here for these ideas.
Okay, get back to reading the fucking thing.
Consulting and derived from the proceeds obtained directly and indirectly, said offense, including but not limited to a sum of money representing the amount of proceeds traceable to the offense. In other words, give us all the money you ever got as a result of all this bad stuff. Give us all the monies.
He should lose everything. He's gonna lose everything.
The indictment, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD, and Love, the defendant shall forfeit to the United States any and all property, real and personal. Real property just means real estate, means land and homes, involved in, used in, or intended to be used in, or facilitated the commission of offense. So give us any place that these things occurred in. Yeah. And any property traceable to that property, any and all property, real or personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of the offense, including but not limited to a sum of money representing the amount of property in the offense traceable to the commission. So give us all your property too. As a result of the committing of the offense, shall forfeit to the United States any property, real and personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of the offense. So again, give us anything you basically got as a result of this. So give us all that stuff. We'll take all that too. And in the event that we can't find any of that stuff, then just give us anything else of the equal value. So in the event that those things cannot be found, we'll take anything else you happen to have up to, of the same value. And all that stuff. So good times. So that's all those things that are going on there. And that is the end of the indictment, which is super exciting. So I will now take a few questions. Let me just pull up the feed.
All right, so that's
and we
it.
will answer a few questions.
All right, we're gonna go to something else. I want to see what my girl's doing because she is the biz on when it comes to fucking this shit.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given, they claim he's cooperating?
Okay, hold on.
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics. Operation.
All right, hold on, y'all. I got the press conference. I'm gonna rewind it though. She's playing it.
I also want to thank the dedicated case agents. Not done.
We got the press conference. All right.
See here, this is a drum capacity drum magazine. This hotel.
But the poster board, look at this. This is good. Everybody getting shot.
All right, y'all.
Everybody getting, this is a money shot. These people have getting excited.
All right, we got the press conference.
They did it. Why did I want to mess with the time frame? You see the way after everybody jumping, the way he came up with that thing with that little smirk, like, hey guys, Do you have any questions? Start in about 2 minutes. Do you guys have any questions? No, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
They look very confident.
See, these members of the press.
I'm gonna turn the camera around because I'm gonna show some of it.
What?
All right, Joe.
There was like
Let's
a
see.
bunch of pictures on there. I think it's more than that.
Okay.
Baby, he woke them up. He said, I knew. He said, he literally walked on stage like
Alright.
Gag City. He said, I knew it was gonna wake them up.
I want to show
Let
you.
me know.
Give me 2 seconds, y'all. I'm gonna get this together. Shut up. We're gonna have to. Damn it. Fuck it. Shit's fucked up, but we're gonna watch it on this. Y'all be alright.
Literally had to walk off. I know what somebody had to self-satisfied small, but good for you. Good for you, sir.
Alright, thanks for
They
that.
are excited. Listen, who said he had weapons? Oh, Diddy had weapons. He didn't have weapons. He had
Weapons.
They found weapons, including 3 assault rifles with the serial numbers filed off and the serial numbers filed off the magazine clips. What do you need assault rifles? Let's not forget the
Why you need the serial numbers shaved off?
He to be a now organization of the highest order. Like Gag City, literally walked on stage like I fear. Here we go. Let's get into this.
My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Okay.
As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee.
No, that's Cassie.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal.
Cassie in Dubai.
In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities,
Sounds like
by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance.
Kim and Cassie.
Yep.
Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that
That's
the
what
victims
traffickers
did not
do.
believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse.
Kim, Cassie.
The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson.
Kid Cudi,
The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
Oh.
Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy.
Let's keep this about Diddy right now, please.
And employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Wow.
The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced.
Remember that private investigator?
Alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims
I'm
from
trying to
leaving a
keep my hands
location
from shaking.
in
I
order to
can't
hide
help
their
it.
injuries by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee.
That was Cassie and Kim.
Part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles.
Okay.
They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine.
Oh my God.
They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims.
Wow.
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs.
I'm
More
gagging.
than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Yo, this
Here are
was,
some of the items that we recovered during the searches.
this was a straight up blank trafficking operation. 1,000 bottles?
As you can see here, this is a drum magazine,
All right.
large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced.
Oh, I'm gagged.
Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there.
Oh, wow.
Now, I want to be clear about
Good.
things.
He gagged the girls.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be.
Ooh.
No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City.
Eric Adams, you
Today,
idiot.
he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
He just gagged us.
Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing. And I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4-HSI. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light.
Shout out to Lil
We would not
Rob.
be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case: Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smeisler, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleiter and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division.
Wow.
We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I'm deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Oh, Diddy is
ABC. Damien, thanks.
Uh,
The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by
good
Tom
question.
Combs, and how many others were involved?
Our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done.
Don't worry about what happened before. Worry about what we're looking at now.
Ainsley,
Next
NBC.
question.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
Did I not
What's the
call it?
difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty gritty of
He is sick of these reporters.
But the sex trafficking, we believe they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified.
He's
that we're
annoyed.
able to bring
It's like the image y'all do, y'all research. Wait,
I'm not going to be able to get into that.
he said, does anybody have a real
Look it up,
question? Can we
and
move on?
sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Okay, he's annoyed.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Good question.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying.
He said, you tried it, but it was a good try.
The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment, and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond
He
that.
respects her. He gave her a little half smile. He said, he tried it. I respect that.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation?
Yes.
And additionally, could he face any more charges?
Yes. He just said that.
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime.
Look at his face. He's like, yeah.
Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and they were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Well, I'm biased. I'm the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it, and so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from. It's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and there was violence that was associated with it.
Okay, that was a good question. He gave us something.
That was at a hotel.
And then gagged.
Inner City Press.
Baby, I'm prosecuting except
Thanks a
for
lot.
that.
Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning.
They're not giving him bail.
I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
Oh my God.
New York Daily News. Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found among his residents? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? So I kind of wanted to just get a better picture.
Yeah, 1,000 bottles of baby oil was scattered around the house.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, two of the AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts, along with magazines with ammunition loaded in them. So, some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored.
Oh my God.
Ben Kochman, Post.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Your office was the office that had been prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein before he died in custody. I have not read your detention memo yet. It's the first thing I'm going to do after this ends. But does the memo address, or is your office concerned?
Do you have a question
with Combs's safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So, but I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pre-trial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the fact of this case. And I'll leave it at that.
Are some of the prosecutors on this case some of the same prosecutors that had been handling that, or that worked on the Maxwell case?
So I'm not going to get into the staffing. I will say that this team, this group of AUSAs, this incredible group has been.
I wish I was in that press conference.
Around the clock.
Excuse me, sir.
They've had their hands full.
Keith Tell's.
Shut up.
Gus Rosendale, NBC News.
Good morning, sir. Combs' attorney said that his client has been cooperative with investigators. He said that this morning. I was wondering if you could answer to that.
Let me just say this. I think that generally and with increasing frequency, the word cooperative or cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity, and it no longer really bears any relation to what the word means when we use it in a very specific context. So responding to lawful process and the like does not qualify as cooperation when we use that term here.
Oh,
That's right.
Thanks. To that end, was there any discussion of Mr. Combs surrendering? I understand he was taken into custody at a hotel in Manhattan last night, and maybe that wasn't the plan. Can you elaborate on how that came about and why that was?
I'm not going to be able to get into any operational details, how he was taken into custody and when. He is in custody right now. He will be appearing in court.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given they claim he's cooperating?
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics of operation.
what? Pass him the mic. We can't hear.
Well, I can't get into the charging decision. It is very meaningful to us that weapons were possessed, as we allege in the indictment. Part of the reason why this conduct was so pervasive and
Oh, I love her to death. She's awesome, but I just don't want her to talk during this.
denying him his wishes, as we allege, because of the presence of firearms. I should be the
Okay.
Nice. Last question, Jacob Shamison.
Make it good, Jacob.
GMC and Business Insider. Thank you. Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that will bring allegations against
He just said they were
other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
Again, I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certainly foreseeable, but I cannot predict them sitting here today. All right, thank you, everyone.
Okay, baby. He's not gonna give you what you want. He's gonna give you what you need. Shout out to the U.S. Attorney. This was an actual fantastic. This was a fantastic press conference. It gave us so much.
Yeah, it was a pretty good press conference. So he does not have a bell. I think that's pretty fucking dope. Keep his ass in there. I like the way the one news reporter definitely was like, so are you worried about his safety? Let me see what she says. See what she's talking about.
What do we know? They want to deny Diddy bail. What else do we know? Because of those weapons. What else do we know? Right? What?
Yeah,
look at that.
Shelly,
That could have been me, right?
No,
That camera.
so no bail. And one of the reasons is because he had weapons that had serial numbers sawed off of them. So because of the charges, the sex trafficking and that, and then on top of that with the weapons. So that's why he's not getting bail. And I thought he had court at 10, but I guess apparently he's going to be in court later on today. So we'll also be looking for the updates for that. But it sounded like he's, as of right now, getting no bail. But if he has court later on, there might be a chance. But I don't know. Let's hope that it sounds like they're going to keep it no bail. So we'll see. See what else she's talking about.
Oh, sorry. It's the camera one. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think he's gonna get. I don't think even in court later because of those guns.
Camera.
And they were loaded. So they were loaded. The serial numbers were off of them. And yeah, good. That's some fucking great news.
Excuse me. I left my microphone. Is my microphone here?
I hope he doesn't. I hope they keep his ass in there.
Never mind. That would have been me. Shout out to.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'll never fucking hide a secret behind it. People like him, traffickers and predators, people that harm, traffic people and assault sexually kids and women, children, men, whatever. I'm not with any of that shit, and that's one of the reasons why jails fucking exist. And yep, his ass should be there if he's found guilty on all charges, which I believe he is. So I believe he needs to stay there. All these are opinions of me and obviously allegedly.
That whoever was in front of that microphone.
Well, the grand jury thing had been going on for a little bit. It's been going on. They've been holding a grand jury in New York for a minute, and a couple weeks ago, I don't know what it was because y'all know I'm not great with time length. But I came on and I said, and because I talked about it a little bit, and I talked about how he was in New York. He had been staying up there. There had been a grand jury situation going on. One of the victims, the one that happened at the hotel, one of the hotels where after Cassidy, it was a birthday party, and he took Cassidy to go have sex with other people because that's what he got into. He liked that. After that, she went back to her hotel room. She had a suite, and so her girlfriends were there, and they said that Cassidy was so drugged up she was incoherent. P. Diddy came into the hotel room, and all this is allegedly, but this is what was talked about in the grand jury. Anyway, her friend said something. They got into it. He got pissed off, and he held her over the balcony by her breast. So I'm assuming armpit area. Thinking when I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I bet the girlfriend he beat down. Oh yeah, she's definitely yes, Cassidy. That's her name. Has been talking a lot. But there's a lot of people that have been talking. There's been men, there's been women. So, and I think there's going to be more people come forward. But there are a lot of people that no one knows about apparently that has been talking. That was what was talked about when I was doing the looking through the grand jury shit, or you know what I'm saying.
What does this tell us, you guys? This is going to be a heavy upload day. I'm going live with every legal professional I can find. Weapons were possessed. They're not giving any more detail. They're saying Diddy's lawyers, all cap, he was not cooperating, and they want bail denied. On top of that, this investigation is ongoing. There are more charges coming. I just want to say this.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Like, hit that subscribe, y'all.
Oh, that's okay. So I'm listening to her right now. That's another reason why I'm listening, because I want to hear if there was anything. So what they're going to do, he has a court later on today, and they're going to be asking for no bail. As of right now, he doesn't have a bail, and they're going to be asking for no bail because of the guns and the sex trafficking and all the other charges he has, but also because of the guns, and that'll probably what's going to get him not no bail. So as soon as that comes out, I'll put something on my community page, or, if we're not live, because if we're live, then obviously we'll
have to be true. I might tell you a joke, but baby, I ain't never gonna tell you a lie. Now, I'll put 20 on 10 to be dramatic, because maybe it's entertainment. But
even, like, there's all kinds of women, and there's all kinds of men. There's a lot of alleged rumors about Meek Mills. There's a lot of alleged rumors about Justin Bieber. There's a lot of, you know what I mean? Usher. Like, this shit gets deep, man. This whole fucking thing gets super duper deep. And like I said, it's not just sex trafficking. It's not just drug trafficking. There's fucking hits. There's all kinds of shit related to this. So this is a lot. That's a lot. Again, I don't think he's gonna make it out of jail. I think eventually he's gonna be unalived or some, whatever. But I just have that feeling.
From the beginning, when his house was,
and they're talking about arson and all this shit, like,
told you what was gonna happen.
Yeah, dude, there's all kinds of.
TMZ said
that's what people have to understand. Like, there's tons of celebrities, and there's all kinds of videos out there, man. There was one little girl, like, I don't know, dude. There's all kinds of shit out there. It's just, yeah, he gets. This is a great day. This is a great day, and I hope that it'll be even a better day if that judge says no bail. So he has court later on today. The feds are going to be asking for no bail. So I think hopefully he gets it. God, I hope he don't get no bail.
TMZ said that, and everything I said came to.
Yeah, there's all kinds of. I
said it was going to pass,
and that's another thing. Me and Hammer don't, agree a lot of times, but there's a lot of entities to him, right? So there's obviously the music industry, but there's actresses, there's allegedly pastors, big time famous. There's all kinds of fucking people attached to this. So these videos.
Charges, how they were going to unfold.
I don't know if y'all listen to Cat Williams, but you might want to go listen to him. Cat Williams talks about all kinds of shit like this, involving this and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, this, that, and the third.
There's also a lady named Jaguar. If you want to do your own little listen to, there's a chick named Jaguar on you. She's all over YouTube, and this woman's been talking for years. And she actually used to work with P Diddy back in the day. Like, she's very, very in on the knowing of what's been going on, and she has been talking forever. And for a long time, people sit there and said, "Oh, that Jaguar bitch, she's fucking, crackhead, she's crazy, she's this, she's that, she's this, she's that." But every single thing that she has said, and Cat Williams has said, and a couple other people, but Jaguar is really the person you really want to fucking listen to. You know what I mean? Like, I promise y'all, this shit's been going on for a long time. Summer, you're on point. Yeah, hey, listen, this is one thing I know. You know what I mean? I've been researching this shit for a minute. Plus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cat Williams is one of them. Don't let his coming out fool you. I think all of them can be one of. There's a lot of people that's attached, but you gotta, even the people that are, trying to save their own ass, listen to what the fuck they say, because they saying some shit. Now, also listen to everybody else, because again, I believe there's a lot of people that are attached to this situation. So nothing will ever surprise me. But like I said, people will talk when they're trying to save their own ass. So listen.
You want, but
Jaguar chick.
We up
that's
50.
Really,
Jaguar, we up 50,000 title towels. We outside. Listen, really quick. The legendary Klein said, Orange jumpsuit crew activated by the power predators. No graceful here. Go to jail. Take that. Take that. Take that. Amanda said Kevin Lawson stepped down as CEO. The domino fell. Anyway, Alec Quandary. You tell me. odds.
All right.
Talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.
So that was it. So we heard the indictment being read. We watched the press conference. Let's see. Let me do a real quick look.
They're going to be paying $43 million to the Mountain West Conference as.
I don't know what that is. Look back here. Oh yeah, I got a membership to Agenda Free TV. Woo!
The racketeering enterprise alleged in the indictment, which includes the defense.
Okay, everybody's just reading the. Let me see if there's P. Diddy. Yeah, I know. And plus, he just got hit with that $100 million judgment with that inmate or whatever. That shit was crazy. All right, so there's nothing. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so I'll show you guys. They're waiting on. All right, we'll sit here and chill for a minute. I think they might be coming out. He might have had court. Oh, no, that was started a while ago. Okay, so that's just their setup. All right, so I'm going to keep that playing. Let's keep that playing in the background. So they are, Associated Press is set up outside waiting for the lawyers to walk out. They've been set up all morning. So he's supposed to have court and from the press conference. Now the Fed's press conference just happened a little bit ago. He said later this afternoon. It's lunchtime in New York right now. Probably, I don't know how the system up there works, but I do know that they have court all the way into the evening. So I'm sure because this is you said, okay, this full indictment. We will post the full indictment on my community page. That way, you guys, if you want to look at it, you can look at it on your own. You don't have to believe what I say. Do your own fucking research, right? But you know what I mean? Like, this is what I survived in my heart and my passion. And so I always try to bring facts when I bring stuff. So I mean, dude, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I got emotional listening to that fucking press conference because it's time for all these powerful motherfuckers to go down. And I believe that there's going to be other people that's going to be involved in this. Did I not learn anything? I'm not. No one's going to tell me this isn't real. So, anyway. You can't tell me things are psyops when there's real victims. So, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to buy into that aspect of things when there's real victims. So, I don't know. Anyway, I am going to jump off here. I'm going to chill for a little bit. I will come back on if they come out. I'll do a quick live if I catch it. I've got it playing in the background, so we will keep an eye on it. But I am going to chill and relax. So I will talk to y'all later. Later. Everybody have a great day. And you know what? Fuck it. Let all predators go down. Fucking celebrate that this son of a bitch is in jail. And let's pray and send good energy that judge does not give him a bond because he doesn't deserve a bond. Holler.